Pigeons 420. Mr. Grow It. And Rob from Cannabis Lifestyle TV. From the Stash Podcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? Do you want to get your hands on the latest From the Stash merch? Check the links below, get the From the Stash store, and go check to see the latest drop. We appreciate all the support, as always, and we will check you in the next epi.
AC Infinity is sponsoring this episode. Use discount code THESTASH15 for a discount on any of their products. AC Infinity is well known to have some of the highest quality gardening equipment on the market today. They have everything from grow lights, grow tents, inline fans, oscillating fans, smart controllers, and so much more. Visit their website at acinfinity.com and don't forget to use discount code THESTASH15 to save on any of their products.
Today's subject, busted stories.
Oh,
Not all of them are just cops. Sometimes it's just having a situation that did not turn out good. This is almost like a hybrid of the Prohibition tales, but sometimes they don't come with a good. I love those fucking emotes.
Aren't they good?
They don't come with a good ending, we'll say. So I think we should talk about it. I mean, they're funny now you look back. Like now I'm looking back, I'm like, ha ha ha. Some of them not so much, but some of them are just like, wow, I can't believe how times have changed.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
Now,
I'm afraid to tell my stories because I'm like, the people involved are gonna listen to these some days and be like, I fucking knew it.
Statute of limitations.
I knew
You gotta
it.
tell them the same thing. Cops
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it. Law
You
does
can't
it,
break my
patients-
legs. You can't
can't.
break my legs. You can't. He says so. Statute of limitations, baby.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think this is a good one, guys. We want to share a little bit of the insides of what it took to get to be in the hot seat, you know? And,
Yes.
you know, in a world of prohibition and a world of, you know, a lot of us were token long before it was ever legal, let alone regulated. And now here we are sitting in the hot seat. And I want to share. Yeah, we got lots of stories. You want to start us off, brother?
I'll start off one that actually, thank God, wasn't me. This is one of them situations where I almost got involved and I stepped out and said, nah, too good to be true. Can't do it. There was a dude, no names, but if people know me, they know who I'm talking about. He was out here doing big baller Pablo Escobar style shit. And now this guy actually did get in trouble at one point prior. And so it was already on the radar. But afterwards, he really, really exploited the medical program. And this is probably why they changed it so much. So what he was doing is going around and paying for the card and supplying the nutrients because he owned a grocery store for these random anybody who'd agree to do it. And they're like, yeah, I'll do it. And then he would take a percentage of their shit and do whatever he did with it, allegedly. All allegedly. And again, 8 years ago, statute of limitations. That's all I'm saying. So this character came to me thinking, you know, hey, you had a pretty good grow. Maybe you want to take it to the next level. I was like, yeah, maybe I do. Fuck. I'm only growing 12 plants. Like I'm in a basement. I want to make this shit big. And fortunately, I had conscious then, but not a ton because I was like, fuck it, let's do it. I was hanging out with this guy on a regular basis. Too much, we'll say. And a lot of his little cronies too. Well, about a month later, before I really said no even, like a huge crash down of like 30, 40 people. And this was on the local news, like multiple news all around everywhere in my area. He had like 40 people that he was basically having run these grow operations and then taking the bud and selling it in fucking Ohio when it was totally illegal, like over state lines, which is a huge fucking no-no. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a big no-no. You can't do that. But then all the people he was involved with all got busted the same way. And because it was over lines, it became a RICO act. They weren't paying taxes. There was a bunch of, huge situations. A guy that I know who just was literally only growing and breaking off a percentage. All he was doing is breaking a percentage off. He still did 2 years in prison. It's crazy. A girl's parents who just had a small grow going, 2 years in prison. Like, it's nuts. And that dude ended up doing, I think, 6 or 7 total. But just insane. He went from like big baller dude, but he was on Instagram, like it was Facebook at the time. He's on Facebook like this, standing next to a safe with a bunch of bud and money and guns in it. Just like this dude, Malibu's most wanted as much as it gets. Like he was just cringe with it almost, man. He had his own like team, like the Mayweather team. It was just so fucking stupid. And he had such good opportunity to do it on the up and up. He had multiple grow stores. He had people growing for him. He could have just put it in to dispensaries at the time, because that was a thing. You were able to sell to dispensaries, but instead, fucking Malibu's most wanted to go big Pablo Escobar. And now I think he just has a regular job, like a moving factory, and just really ruined his fucking whole everything. And as a felon, he's not able to even be a caregiver, and everything just changed for him. And that's we're pushing it too far. You got people watching you for a year or two. That's what it is. The guy that I was cooler with, who went for 2 years, people moved, like the local DEA that we have moved in across the street. They rented a fucking house across the street and watched us for months. Like, thank God I was just over there smoking. I wasn't doing nothing crazy. I'm just over there getting faded. But it's like, dude, wow. Scary.
I had no idea Trey was capable of those things.
It's definitely not Trey.
Cat's out of the bag, baby.
Definitely not true.
Grocery store, so I had to connect the dots there.
No, Trey's on the up and up. Son of a bitch. Trey's watching. He's like, motherfucker.
Told you not to tell anyone.
I had to.
No, that's good. Like, it's
it was not good.
It never worked. No, it isn't. It never worked. It was a good story. It was a good story. Poor Trey. But it's just kidding. Everyone's gonna run with this now. You know that, right? Yeah, man. I had some pretty fucking wild ones too, man. I was a bad kid, man. A lot of people are always like, Pigeons, run for politics. I'm like, fuck no, man. People find out the shit I did, I'm gonna get in trouble. So I'm gonna tell them myself. Do it. We had this dealer. I'm not gonna mention any names either, because it might not be you. And he always kept like pounds at his place. And me and my hood rich buddies, we were like, you know what? Let's go take it all. And this is actually like the second or third time I've actually done this. And so we almost thought we were getting good at it. So we knew where he lived. We parked across the street, and three of us we had 4 guys all together, 3 guys that went into the house and 1 guy that stayed in the car. And we went to go open his door, and his door was locked, wouldn't open. Tried to wiggle the handle, nothing. So we kicked it. We kicked it in. We fucking boom, nothing. Boom, nothing. Boom. And like it must have taken like 6 good solid blows to get that door open. And we get inside, and he's got like this bi-level split. You can go either downstairs or upstairs. And we go downstairs into the basement. It is pitch black. You can't see nothing. And like I've been there like maybe once before, and I knew where he put his bag. And I was like, I gotta find this. So I'm pretty much just walking around like this, trying to like find. And I find the couch, which is like in the middle of the floor, and I kind of work my way around it. I don't find anything, but then I can like see his bedroom here. And so we start to walk into the bedroom, and as I'm feeling around, I must be 2 feet away from the head of the bed. And all of a sudden, all I hear is, the blankets come whipping off the bed, and all I hear is, who the fuck's in my house? And I thought, son of a bitch. We turned around. I was like, yeah, we gotta go. Let's go. So we fucking run. We can't see shit. I blow over his couch. I knocked it over because I like literally just ran right into it, but I wasn't getting stopped by nothing. I blew over his couch. We run up the stairs, and it's like a classic like a slinky at the door. First guy hits the door, can't open it because it's a screen door. Second guy runs into him because he can't get out the door, and I'm the last one. Boom! And I run into the 2 of them, and that like pushes the door open. And they've got like this little concrete step that has no railing on it, and it swings open, and the 2 of the 3 of us, we fall onto the step and like roll over the concrete step and onto the driveway, and without skipping a beat, we fucking run across the street to the subway parking lot. And my buddy's in the Mustang, and I would love to say who it is because it would make the story so much better, but I can't. And this guy, at the best of times, we got 2 out of 7 brain cells firing at full blast, and we're like, go! And so I dive in through the window of the Mustang. It's a 2-door Mustang. And I dive in through the window. And as I look out the window, I can see the owner of the fucking house running across the street in his white tighty whities, man. And he's fucking shaking his fist. You sons of bitches, if I fucking find you. And we were gone. We go back to school, and we're sweating bullets, bro. We're like, oh my God. And one of the buddies that I knew from school knew this guy. And we didn't mention anything. So we go back to school. It is what it is. We're all like, That later that night, I live in the fucking middle of nowhere, bro. Like we're talking drive, take 2 lefts, a right, keep driving another fucking 30 minutes and you're getting close. And we get back to my house and it's I get back, it's probably 7, 8 o'clock at night. And all of a sudden I get a knock and I my room was in my garage. I didn't get to sleep with my family because I'm just an outlaw. And next I get a bang on the garage. It's the homeowner that I was just in his house with. And he's like, "What the fuck you doing?" I was like, "What are you talking about, man? Come on in. He's like, "Where were you today?" I was like, "I was at school, bro. What did you talk about?" He's like, "I had people break into my house." I was like, "No." He's like, "Thought it was you. I recognized the car." And I drove at the time a little fucking Chrysler Sundance. And it's like if you weren't paying attention, it's like a 2-door kind of coupe sports car. It's not a sports car, but it's like a little coupe. And it kind of resembled like an 87 Mustang. And just that old body style, not quite the style everybody knows. And as I'm talking to him, he's parked his car like looking at the garage, and I open the door to the garage. I can't see anything. It's a classic gangster movie, man. They rolled the lights up. It's real bright. I can only see the shadows. He's like, "Thought I saw your car." I was like, "My car hasn't moved at all." He's like, No, I pulled up. I realized it's not your car. You know anything about people breaking in my house today?" I was like, "No, man. I got no idea." "Well, that's crazy, bro. I don't know who would do that. You're a crazy fucking guy. I wouldn't fuck with you." And he's like, "I got 4 guys in my car right now that were ready to fucking bust your legs, bro." I was like, "No way." He's like, Yeah, but it's not your car, man. Have a good night." I was like, "How'd you figure out where I live, bro?" He's like, "I called Steve, bro. He told me exactly how to get to your house." I was like,
Fucking Steve.
"Oh my God, you fucking Steve, bro. You Steved me, G." And so, yeah, he pulled out, drove away. I'm fucking dying with that story, bro. I'm not telling anybody else that story because I know it's going to get back to him and he will find me. He will find me. That's a Twitch exclusive. Don't tell me.
Hey, baby, YouTube.
So it's kind of a busted story, but not a busted story because like I
got
managed
away.
to get out of it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
With
I was
nothing.
on fucking edge. The
Didn't
whole story.
grab the weed. I didn't grab any pipes. I didn't grab any money. I grabbed my
life.
fucking life and I ran, bro. Oh God, I made it.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Yeah.
Almost busted. The almost busted story.
busted.
You almost busted. Have you almost been busted?
Yeah, I've got an almost busted story. So back in high school, I was a stoner for sure. I hung out with like the stoner group. And I mean, I started smoking in middle school and then it obviously went into high school. So I'm a freshman in high school hanging out and we used to smoke every day before school, right? So we're talking like 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. before school starts. I think first class was like 7 a.m. or 7:15, whatever it was, right? So there's the high school and then there's a parking lot where all the seniors could park. There was only parking for seniors. And behind that, there was the ice skating rink where the hockey team played and so on and so forth. And then behind that was the parking lot for the ice skating rink. So we were there one morning. I forget, there had to have been a half dozen of us. And we met behind that ice skating rink in the parking lot there. And we're smoking. I think my buddy has a couple grams or something. We have a joint we're passing around and we're having a great time. It's kind of like a blind corner, right? So like when you come around, you're like hidden. And so out of nowhere, this cop comes flying around the corner and there's clouds of smoke here, right? So like clearly there's smoke, not a windy day or anything. And my buddy tosses a joint as fast as he can, like over a fence or whatever. And the cop opens up the door and he's like, "Gentlemen, a little early to be smoking marijuana, isn't it?" And so we're all like, just looking at ourselves and stuff like this. And he's like, "Well, who's got the weed? I'm going to let you guys all go today. Just give me the weed." And so buddy takes out the weed and gives it to him. Guy takes the bag of weed, sniffs it, and then pours it out on the concrete and then takes his boot and he stomps it out. And I'm like, this is the first time I've ever seen weed like stomped out. So I'm like mesmerized by how quickly and how it's grinding up so easily and stuff like that. And then he just gets in his cop car and drives away. And there's nothing to salvage, right? There's usually we go down there and try to get what we can, but there was nothing to salvage. That was completely gone. But he let us go. And we all went into school stoned as fuck and went on with our day. I'm surprised that he didn't actually arrest anybody. because we were all. I guess he probably would have arrested the person who gave him the weed. I guess maybe not the rest of us. I don't know if he could have arrested us because we were there or what. But
usage, maybe.
Maybe.
It's never been illegal to be high. It's only illegal to possess, traffic, produce.
True.
But
So
not
the possession.
to
I've gotten usage charges, multiple. Believe it or not.
Usage charge.
Usage. Maybe that's a Michigan thing.
Welcome to Michigan, baby. Oh shit, that's
here's my somewhat piece of shit story, and I am a better person now. I'm just gonna say, just for context, okay? I was young, I was dumb. My dad wasn't around, okay? But all right, so I was hanging out with this dude who used to call himself Capone, and I don't know what I was thinking. He could buy me booze and cigarettes, is really what it was, and then he could get weed, and I was fucking 13 or 14. And he was like 25 or 26. I don't know, but just fresh out of prison. Dude was covered in tattoos, all gang tattoos. I didn't know that. I had no idea they were gang tattoos. I just knew they were tattoos. He had stars and shit all over him. And I was like, oh, like punk rock kids. They always have those stars that are colored in a little bit. And it's like, oh, cool. So he convinced me and another one of my buddies of an easy lick, we'll say. And this was just supposed to be just a cool, casual go in, no one's there, and just grab some bud and go. And I was like, oh, we're cool. No problem. Totally good. So me and this other piece of shit who's now in prison because he's a piece of shit decide to go into a very rough neighborhood, and two white kids go into this real rough fucking neighborhood. Immediately red flags. Just didn't look good. So then we go into this dude's house in the back. My buddy decides to kick the door. Meanwhile, as my hand's on the door handle opening it, the door was open. We could have just went in. Kicks the fucking door because he thinks no one's there, because the guy who brought us there said no one's there. Guaranteed no one's there. Go up in there. It's in the trunk. Pull the shit out. Grab a brick. Grab this, and his heater. I'm like, okay, cool. So we go in there. The guy I'm with proceeds to pull out what I found out was an airsoft gun. Didn't know it was an airsoft gun. I was like, oh my God. What, didn't sign up for this shit? I thought it was me being like a lookout or maybe like extra hands to grab shit. And I was young and dumb and we were drinking. We get in there. The dude was sleeping. Comparable situation. Not naked, luckily. And as soon as we go in, this stupid motherfucker kicks him right in his ass and says, get up with this gun. I'm like, oh my God. Tells me to go and search this trunk. Nothing in the trunk. Nothing at all in the trunk. Like there was like paperwork, fucking CDs, blunt roaches, blunt guts. Like there was a huge bag of just blunt guts, like tobacco, that at first I thought was weed. I was like, I got it. And I was like, no, fuck, it's tobacco. Dude ends up beating the shit out of my buddy. So acquaintance. Like just they start scrapping. This big motherfucker, Capone calls himself, comes in there. Wild scene, we'll just say. We're going to get past that part. We leave. We take off empty-handed with nothing other than a scared to fucking death, right? We get back into my little town. I thought everything was kosher. We're good. No problem. We get pulled over, and it's right near the school I go to. And I'm 13, mind you. Around here, it was like a fucking curfew violation. And I was already on limited probation, which is like pre-regular probation. And it's weird. You get consent probation, limited probation, and then full probation for juvenile shit. So we get pulled over. I'm allowed to be searched because I'm a minor and on probation. This cocksucker has an AK-47 under his seat, like not totally together, but underneath his seat. We're in the suburbs, like major suburbs here, like 13,000 people, small suburbs. And this fucker proceeds to act like I'm involved with this shit. He's like, tell him. And they call me Chunk at the time because I was chubby. He said, do the truffle shuffle. And he says, Chunk, tell him you're set. I'm like, what? Tell him you're set. And I'm like, tell him I'm set. What the fuck? Like, I had no idea what was going on. This dude's a fucking, like a somewhat higher up gang member. I get a gang affiliation charge because I'm wearing a South Pole shirt, a blue South Pole shirt. The crazy shit, and got nothing out of it other than juvie. Nobody else got charged other than the driver and the fucking kid I was with who got beat up, got sent home. I'm like, because it was an airsoft gun. Like, And that was like the last time I hung out with those motherfuckers. Well, I hung out with the dumb kid with the gun one time, the airsoft gun. Like, but that was it.
Lucky, bro. Airsoft gun. Someone comes into my airsoft or my house with an airsoft gun. I'm not going to take the time to determine that it's an airsoft gun. Let me tell you that.
And like this dude for sure would have shot us if he would have had, you know, the upper hand. It was fucking crazy, dude. I just go home and tell my mom. I'm like, yeah, I have a gang affiliate, like with the cop. Well, why don't you want to tell her? Or do you want me to tell her? I'm like, somehow I got a gang affiliation charge, Mom. She's like, what? I was like, I'm not in a gang. Like, I don't do any of that shit. I just wanted some fucking bud. And I was a piece of shit as a kid. That was all. You know what I'm saying? But it turned into the downfall of me going to, like, literally starting up limited nothing probation to I didn't get off until I moved out of the county and they just kicked me off. The only reason I got off. It's horrible.
Lucky, man. Lucky. If you
Man,
think
busted
about
with
it.
Nothing. Yeah, lucky, but
Yeah, that
it's fucking
sucks.
pissed me off.
Not lucky,
man.
but lucky, right?
Yeah, lucky,
Right?
but not lucky.
Thick Ass Glass was kind enough to send me this beautiful Klein recycler. It's their 18-inch version, and boy, when you watch this thing in action, it is incredible. Just watching the way that the water swirls through the piece and the smoke kind of just mingles its way together. This is absolutely beautiful, and can I tell you, it is thick. From the mouthpiece to the stand to the percolators in the middle, you can tell that this is really thick glass. And so I think it's true to the name for Thick Ass Glass. And using promo code THESTASH to help save a few dollars off at checkout. Yeah, I've been lucky, not lucky. I ran away from home officially when I was 16. The first time I ran away, I was like, I don't know, 13 or something. But the successful time that I ran away, I was like 16. And I ran away to a town that was about 40 minutes away. Got a ride, yada, yada. A guy got there. And then I went there because I was seeing this girl at the same time. And she was cool, but I didn't know her too well. And we went there, like, let's say the Wednesday before I end up running away. We'll say I ran away on Friday. And I went to Carberry. Oh, okay, Carberry. It's a fucking down in the middle of fucking nowhere in Manitoba. And we go to a fair. And we're hanging out. It's fun. I'm with my buddy and I'm with her buddies. And she pulls out a bag of mushrooms. She's like, "You want some?" And I was like, hadn't tried them at this point. I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good." And my buddy was like, "Yeah, I'll have some." And so he tries a couple, but whatever. And so we have a great time. We end up leaving. I go home. I end up running away, say 3 days later. I run back to the town with her, and that's where we stay. I end up staying in a hotel or in an apartment with like this old guy, man. I'm like a 15, 16-year-old kid, and I'm with this old guy. He let me stay in his apartment, and a couple days in, 2-3 days in, all of a sudden I'm laying on the mattress on the floor, and she's there with me, and all of a sudden all I hear is boom, 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 boom. And then it was very aggressive, so we weren't going to open the door. And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 on the windows of the apartment. Boom, 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 boom. It's her parents. And they're screaming. I can't make out anything that's being said, but they're fucking screaming. So we ignore it. We don't answer the door. Door's locked. They can't see in the window to where we are. Everything's good. We decide that we're gonna leave the apartment, and we go out walking. And then all of a sudden, her parents are both in their Jeep, and they pull up beside us, and they like, we're like almost at her house kind of thing, and they're like, "Yo, did you give our daughter mushrooms?" I was like, "No." She's like, "We just found mushrooms in her room. She's not the kind of girl to ever do this kind of stuff. You were a bad influence." I was like, "I had nothing to do with it, bro." And they're like, "Fuck you. Come here." I was like, "No." They're like, "Come here." I was like, "No." So I fucking run the other way. She runs with me. And now it's a foot pursuit of two parents. We're on foot. They're in a Jeep. And they're chasing us through the fucking town. And we're dodging between yards and going in the backyards and jumping over fences and shit. And we end up coming to like the community complex. She's got to go to the washroom. So I have her purse. And she goes to the bathroom. And I get on the phone, on a payphone. And I'm like on the phone, and I got her purse right beside me. And I'm like trying to like get a ride from somebody. And all of a sudden, I look out the doors. Sure as shit, the Jeep pulls up. And it's probably about 30 feet from where I'm at on the outside of the building. And I was like, I just dropped the phone. And I was like, "I'm leaving your purse. I'm out of here." And I just fucking ran. And as I run out the back of there's a double doors on the one side. I run out the double doors on the other side. Just so happens, one of my buddies is driving by. And I got this thing for jumping through back windows. I jumped through his back window, and I was like, "Go, go, go." He's like, "What's going on, bro?" I was like, "They're fucking chasing me, bro. They're fucking chasing me. They're trying to fucking kill me is what they're trying to do. You got to drive, bro. You got to drive." And that was the last time I ever seen her. I never saw her again. And
I thought you were going to say, and it turned out that was Mrs. P.
That was Mrs. P. Yeah. No.
Hey, married with a kid.
I left that town. I was literally chased out of that town by my fucking girlfriend's parents, and I never went back. Never went back. I never saw them again. Her and I kind of ran into each other at a party one time, like years later, and it was kind of like, hey, I know you. Yeah, awkward.
And Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet.
The rest is history. Thankfully, I didn't get busted because, like the first story would have had my legs broken or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Intimidating as fuck.
Wow. You guys have way better stories than what I have.
We were just all pretty much pieces of shit when we were younger.
Yeah.
You were just a
right,
stoner.
right.
You weren't as much of a piece of shit, but I know you got some. I know you got some shit in you.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a small town, but I think the population was about 30,000 people, right? So real woodsy area.
Bigger than my town.
Of Boston. So outside of the city, considered the suburbs, really. And we always used to party at like parking lots, or we went to the pits, what we call the pits. It's like just in the woods. There's like sandy areas, and people used to ride like, not mopeds. Used to ride like dirt bikes and quads and all that stuff. And we used to have fires there, and we used to drink around the fire, right? I think a lot of people do that. But one night there was about 5 of us or 6 of us around the fire. We were waiting for more people to come. And it was actually behind my friend's house. That was the pits there. Now they actually built it into houses, but at the time it was a cool spot to party. And so we're sitting there with the fire going. I have some weed on me, a bowl. We're smoking, passing the bowl around, blah blah blah, and we have beers obviously in a cooler. Out of nowhere, we see a flashlight shine up towards us, right? So like right away, before we could even notice it, right? So flashlight immediately shines up, so close to us, we can't run or anything. We just sit there. Gentlemen, what are you guys doing here tonight? Blah, blah, blah. It's like the cops busted us, right? I think there was 1 cop, or there might have been 2 cops at the time. And I have a bowl in my pocket, right? And I have weed in my pocket. So what do I do? Because I knew I was going to get searched, number one, right? So it's like, shit, what do I do? So like he was searching somebody else, and this was at nighttime. Okay, so again, he had the flashlight nighttime, and as he's searching someone else, I take the bowl, and instead of like trying to throw it and cause like a distraction or anything like that, I just take it out of my pocket real quick, like, and just drop it next to my shoe, and then I start walking away a little bit. And so when I get searched, I have nothing on me, right? And he never found the bowl because it was too dark. And the weed. And what he did, though, because we're all drinking, we're all underage. I was 15 at the time. We all got taken back to our houses in the back of a cop car. So me and my buddy were in one cop car. The other dudes I was with went into another cop car. And we rolled up to his house, and the cop got out with him, went up, knocked on his parents' door, had that conversation about what he had done, and then and dropped him off. And then I'm still in the back cruiser. We drive towards my house, and I'm guiding him to where my house was. It was at the end of the road. I'm like, yeah, it's right around this corner. It's that house right there, right around the corner on the left. He stopped short. He's like, get out the car right now, and then I don't ever want to see you back at those pits ever again.
Oh, you have had the coolest cops, dude.
Oh, no shit.
Oh my God.
Well, we had cops that like got busted for cocaine use.
Oh yeah, they're like weed.
Like we had crooked cops in that town.
I just sniffed a line of coke off a hooker's tit on there. What are you talking about?
But yeah, they let us go a lot. Actually, I have like a couple other stories where they let us off, but I'm not going to share those with you today.
Jeez.
But yeah, and I don't know. Maybe they don't like to do the paperwork you have to do when you arrest somebody, or what? But
shitty MDW.
I was 15, and you know what I mean. That's young. If I get something on my record that young, that could screw the person up for a while there, So maybe he just felt bad and wanted to let me off on that avenue. But I was so thankful. I was thinking the whole ride to my house, I'm like, what the hell is my parents going to say? Are they awake? Am I, they going to yell at me? Blah, 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 blah. And then he just stopped short beforehand, let me out, and then it was great. It was so perfect.
Lucky, dude.
You got lucky.
Yeah, so lucky.
Dude, you were saying a story earlier about smoking before school, and that was a ritual with me and my homies. I got kicked out of every school. I went to 5 high schools in 4 years, and 6 high schools, because I went to a few alternatives. And my 10th grade, I remember I went to this alternative school that was like an adult ed. So there was some older people there, and there was like younger there as well. And me and a few of my buddies linked up with this other dude who could buy us Rellos, who also was like, hey, man, I got $300. Can you guys get some smoke? And I was in that Jack Boy move at the time. I was like, yeah, we can. So I ended up getting them like fucking an ounce of brick for $300. And then we had 420 the next day. So I'm like, let's turn the fuck up. So I went and got a bunch again of brick. It was like a QP that looked like this. And we chipped away at it. We smoked it all up the next morning. So we probably sat there for 2 hours with a gravity bong, mind you. And then when you don't clear it, people would just be an asshole and be like, in your face. And so we went to school shortly thereafter, totally annihilated, reeking like bud, like just gone. And the teacher immediately was like, go to the principal's office. And I'm like bombed out. I'm like, oh. And she's like, Rob, go to the principal's office. I was like, this Rob? Because there's another Rob. Like, she's like, go to the principal's office now. So as I'm walking there, the parapro comes walking in and she's like, you're done. And I was definitely done because I was shredded. And all my two other buddies were in different classes were there too. And I'm like, oh shit. And the principal's having us like rub our hands together so he could smell them. He's like, it's the smell test. Rub your hands. So I'm like, rub. And then he smells them. He's like, yeah, we're calling the cops. I'm like, fuck. And I was on probation still at the time. I just had taken a drug test, so I had like 2 weeks until I had to take another. I'm like, shit. Took off, ran out of there immediately. They called home to my parents. I had a little shitty Boost mobile phone at the time. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to call my mom to try to be like on the other line. Thank God she was at work. So I fucking raced home before my probation officer showed up as fast as I could get there. I mean, I took a bus, the public bus here, and I didn't have any money because, again, I was broke skid. And so I had them drop me off like 4 houses down. I was like, I'm just going to run in and I'll grab the money. I'll be right back. And I just jumped through the backyard, hopped over the other side, and ran in the backyard over at my pop's crib. Hid inside. I was like, oh my God. And my mom was staying in the basement at the time. The struggle was real. And I quickly, thank God at the time, voicemails weren't really popping. It was still a regular machine. So I went there real quick. I was like, delete, gone. I was like, fuck yes, nothing ever happened. I'm good. Until my probation officer showed up, and then I had to go to juvie for a little while.
Had to explain it.
But it was fun until then. It's a great time.
Man, thankfully to like technology, because in similar voicemail, like I stole 4 like custom tires and allegedly took without asking. I actually borrowed them because I brought them back because I got caught. The 4 custom Trans Am tires and wheels, and like a Pontiac Trans Am, and I got busted from the family I was staying with at the time. And he's like, you know what? We're going to take these back. I'm going to have to call your mom. I was like, oh, fuck. And so we loaded up these 4 tires, took them back to the auction sale, which I borrowed them from. And the guys there, I was like, I got these tires. I roll them up to the front office, and I go in there. I was like, and it was like my buddy's dad that drove me there, but he made me go in and return them. So I was like, yeah, I stole these and I just wanted to bring them back. He's like, very commendable. I was like, I didn't feel good about it. I was like, it was really eating at me. He's like, you're a good kid. You're a good kid. I was like, I won't do it again. I promise. He's like, don't worry about it. Just get out of here. So I got out of there. I hopped in the truck. My buddy's dad was like, did you tell him what you did? I was like, yeah, they weren't happy. They weren't happy at all. He's like, I'm going to have to call your mom. I was like, fuck. I was like, I thought I got out of this. And so he takes me home. He goes home and he almost immediately calls my mom. Well, it's like 2002, 2003, and like voice impersonation on computers was like just becoming like decent. So I literally opened up a program on my computer and I went to woman's voice and I clicked it and I answered the phone as my fucking mom. And I was just like, hello? Oh, really? Oh, he's going to be in so much trouble when I get a hold of him. And so he hangs up the phone. And then like 3 days later, obviously my mom didn't do anything. She had no fucking clue. I'm back at my buddy's house and his dad's like, I called your mom. I was like, oh, I heard. I got a real licking from that. He's like, did you really? I was like, yeah. He's like, she sounded real digital. I was like, what are you trying to say? I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, it didn't sound right. I was like, I got in so much trouble, Reg. I don't know what happened. So got out of that one too, man. I fucking managed to look like I was a good kid because I returned things that I borrowed, and then I also managed to get out of it by pretending to be my mom. So yeah, it kind of worked out. I'm thankful for that because I never would like I was already staying with this family. My parents didn't like me as it was, so it's like if they got wind of this, I fucking would have been kicked out before I was 16. So yeah, busted.
Well, we're reformed. We're reformed, and we're better men because of this. Okay.
Perfect.
And now that we got it all out there, I feel good with the confessions.
Yep.
I can breathe better.
Yeah.
Like,
Saint Pigeon and Rob. Saint Pigeons and Saint Rob. Yeah.
You know, Chris just holding back his shit. He's like, no one's judging me. No one's judging.
I got one more story.
What you got?
It's actually when I first started growing. One of my first attempts at growing, and this I don't even actually count this as my first time ever growing because it wasn't actually complete. But where this is got to be back in 2003 maybe 2002, and I was in high school at the time, or it might have been a little bit earlier than that. I might have been in middle school, but had some seeds off of brickweed, and I figured I'd try to grow it. Might as well grow in my backyard. My dad never goes in the backyard, and there's a tree, and then behind the tree, there's sunlight. Perfect. You got 8 to 12 hours of direct sunlight all day long. So my dad never goes out there. So why not? Why not try it? So I went out there, and I had like this. It had to have been like a 1.5 foot by like maybe 6 inches, and maybe like 6 or 8 inches deep. So real small container that I'm starting these seedlings in, right? And I was going to eventually transplant them. So I just have this container behind the tree, just in my open lawn, in my backyard. And of course, my dad goes out back there one time, right? And he spots the seedlings. And the seedlings, I had to have been around maybe like day 14 since sprout or something like that. So they were real small, but they had multiple leaves on them. And my dad comes back in the house. He's, Chris, come here. Brings me outside. He's like, come here. And walks out back. These are marijuana plants. I'm like, what? No, they're not. Are you kidding me? What is this? This is just, I don't even know what this is. These are marijuana plants. You can't be growing this here. And he rips out the seedlings and then sends me back. We go back in the house, sends me on my way. I forget what else he said to me because it was so long ago, but I remember him busting my grow, ripping out my seedlings out of that container. And that was a failed attempt at growing, I guess.
I mean, my dad was a piece of shit. He probably would have just let me grow them and smoked it all. But most dads probably would have punched in your shit. You got lucky.
Right? I barely knew my dad.
Yeah, fuck. Hey, he would have punched you.
Yeah, right? I don't know who you are, kid, but
like,
don't grow marijuana. Don't grow
man.
marijuana. Yeah, some wild fucking stories, boys. Wild fucking stories. And safe
all
to say
allegedly.
that all alleged. I think it's safe to say we might be able to do a part 2 on this one if it's something you guys are interested in. Of course, without incriminating yourself, we would love to hear your prohibition stories or your busted stories or almost busted stories in the comment section below. So if you're watching this on YouTube, check it out below. I'm gonna be reading the comments in this one, guys. Don't forget too that we record these episodes live twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the chat on this one is going wild. So if you want to join and kind of influence the conversation, twitch.tv/From the Stash podcast, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Central, 3 Eastern, and 12 Pacific. But geez, boys, YouTube. We also stream have a smoke sesh with Twitch afterwards. So if you guys want to come join that, come hang out, guys. And if you're on Twitch, make sure you stick around because we blazing after this one.